My name is Jalyn Spencer. I am a board certified lactation consultant. So today I was going to share my breastfeeding journey and the lessons I've learned from that. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because I think it's important that I'm not just speaking from clinical experience or from evidence-based research or from just working with moms and families. I'm also speaking from my own experience because it's why I'm here today. It's why I am a lactation consultant, and it's definitely plays a part in how I work with moms and the empathy I have for moms. So yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about my experience and what I learned from that. So my second child, let's fast forward 13 years. I know it's crazy. But when I was breastfeeding my daughter, and when I got pregnant and I knew I was going to breastfeed her, I just figured, it's going to be easy. By this time, I had actually started some training in breastfeeding support. And between that and the fact that I had already breastfed my son for 2.5 years, I just figured, this is easy. This is going to be easy. I'm a pro at this. This will be nothing. I was again induced, and this time I didn't use any medications, and I had a natural vaginal birth. Yay. But daughter came out, and I didn't know it in the beginning, but after a day of breastfeeding her and my nipples were like chewed up, that's the only way I can describe it, and like very damaged, I learned that she had a tongue tie. I didn't even know what that was at the time because with my limited breastfeeding training, that was never brought up. But luckily, while we were still in the hospital, the pediatrician looked at her and saw that she had a tongue tie, and they said, okay, we're going to take care of this today. So I was like, okay, great. Hopefully this will help me not have to go through this intense pain and agony for much longer. And so they clipped it right there in the room with me watching, and I breastfed her immediately afterwards. But the thing is that it didn't resolve. It made it a little bit better. My nipples weren't as damaged after breastfeeding her as before. But I wasn't completely out of the dark. I still endured like about 6 weeks of pain and just trying to figure out like what's going on. Now, at this time, there was a lot more lactation support available. I did do skin to skin with her immediately after birth. I didn't see a lactation consultant in the hospital. I think because they figured, she's breastfed before, she doesn't seem like she needs any help. But once I got home, I think it was like the second week, and I just said, you know what, I shouldn't still be in pain like this. She would not open her mouth wide enough, and I couldn't figure out how to fix that. I said, let me go see a lactation consultant. There was a hospital nearby that had a lactation clinic, and so I said, let me just go there just to make sure that she's okay, that she's getting enough milk. I mean, I knew she was getting enough milk, but I was in so much pain. And another thing is, it took a long time for the engorgement to go away. I was like, that's not right. I shouldn't still be engorged. I'm still feeling like my breasts aren't being emptied well from breastfeeding. And this is like week 3 or week 4. But actually, I went to see the lactation consultant at like the second week. And they were like, well, she looks fine. She looks like she got enough milk. Maybe just try positioning her a little differently. And that was it. So it did allay my concerns a little bit. But I was still in pain. And again, I was still having that engorged, full feeling after feeding her. And yeah, I just endured it. And eventually after 6 weeks, she started opening her mouth wide enough and she started latching on well, and the pain went away. So yeah, it was a struggle. It was definitely a struggle. It was very stressful. And so one of the things what I learned from that experience is that, one, breastfeeding is a humbling experience, and you can't assume that just because you breastfed successfully the first time that it's going to be a walk in the park the second time. You can't assume it's going to be easy and there's not going to be any challenges and you're not going to need any support. Because my second breastfeeding experience was much harder than the first time, even with all the information and knowledge that I had at the time and experience. But on the flip side, if you had a bad experience breastfeeding your first baby, that doesn't mean the second is going to be just as bad. It can go either way. But the important thing is to just make sure you have support, right? Don't assume one way or the other how it's going to go, but make sure you have support. And especially if you had a bad experience the first time, or if you're a first-time mom, I would definitely encourage you to consider a prenatal lactation consultation. First time mom, of course, you don't know what you don't know. Even if you take a breastfeeding class, there's a lot of things that factor in. It's not just about education. Preparing for breastfeeding is not just about education. There's so many factors, like I said, the type of support you have, how confident you are, any health conditions that you might have. There's a lot of different factors that a lactation consultant can help you consider how those factors will play into your breastfeeding success, and then come up with a strategy so that you can reach your goal. And also, if you didn't have the breastfeeding experience that you wanted with your previous baby, a prenatal lactation consultation can figure out where things went wrong and come up with a plan to give you a more optimal experience with the next baby. The other thing I learned is that oftentimes one consultation is not enough to get things back on track. I just thought, oh, okay, let me see a lactation consultant, and if they say it's okay, fine. But I knew it wasn't okay because I knew how breastfeeding should go as time goes on, and I knew it wasn't right. But I didn't follow my gut with it. Follow your intuition, follow your gut. If it doesn't seem like things are right, or if you still don't feel good about the situation after getting a consultation, you either follow up with that lactation consultant and say, hey, I still don't think things are right, and see if they have any more tips or suggestions, or seek out another consultant. I recently worked with a mom. Her baby had a tongue tie, and they released it, but she was still having a lot of pain. She saw a lactation consultant. The lactation consultant said, yeah, I think they need to revise this. They didn't correct the tongue tie completely. I think you need to go back and have it revised again. So she went to see another practitioner to revise the tongue tie. And then after that, she saw that lactation consultant again. And of course, she was like, she's still in pain, but the lactation consultant said, oh, don't worry, it's going to get better. You just need some time, that kind of thing. So she waited like another week, and it's still, I don't see any progress. And she felt like the lactation consultant was just not really listening to her concerns. Oh, and this is the thing. She said, I find myself looking at all these YouTube videos at 3 a.m. And I said, this is ridiculous. Let me seek out another lactation consultant, because I shouldn't have to be on YouTube looking for answers. She ended up working with me, and to make a long story short, we ended up getting her back on track, and she's now pain-free. The baby is gaining weight, and she's just so happy that she stuck with it. But I ended up having to see her for, I think, 3 visits. So she had already had 2 with the other lactation consultant and another 3 with me. And she invested a lot of money just between getting the tongue tie and revise and the consultations and everything. But she felt like at the end of the day it was worth it, because she really wanted to breastfeed. So yeah, so that's why I say if you're pregnant now, it's important that if you need to save up that money and just put it aside. You may not need it, but at least it's there, and then it's not like there's this big financial concern. You can also get friends and family to maybe pitch in, just create like a baby fund. Instead of them giving you a lot of toys and clothes that baby doesn't really need, you can say, hey, can you just pitch into this baby fund if I need help with breastfeeding or any other health issue, a health concern. This is preventative health care. So I always say, breastfeeding support shouldn't be crisis care. It should be preventive care. Not only are you preventing pain and stress and anxiety for mom, but you're also preventing potential illness and infection for mom and baby, both acute and chronic. So it's worth it to invest in that preventive care. So yeah, just to sum everything up, it's definitely important to make sure you have prenatal education, but also to invest in prenatal and postpartum lactation support. Prenatal lactation support will definitely put you in a good position for breastfeeding success. If you have a lactation consultant on hand when you have those questions, concerns, somebody you can just text or email or call just very quickly and get your questions answered and not have to search for information for hours and hours. It's worth it. It's worth having the peace of mind, not having the extra stress. It's already stressful enough being a new mother and having a new baby. So just think about if it's worth the investment for you. For me, not getting that additional lactation support, I think made my journey not only hard for those first 6 weeks, but I think it impacted my milk supply later on, because when my daughter was about 9 months old, I started to notice that her weight gain slowed down. She fell off her growth curve, and I had to supplement with formula for just 3 months until she was a year old. And then, of course, it didn't really matter how much milk she was getting from me because she was eating food by then. But yeah, I wish I didn't have to supplement her. And I think if I had gotten more support in the early days, it would have made a difference. In any case, yeah, these are the things that I've learned. And it really humbled me, especially the second experience really humbled me and led me to where I am today as a lactation consultant. And it gave me that empathy for moms, because I realized, breastfeeding isn't that easy. It's not just, just get through the first couple weeks, just endure it, and then things will be fine. Like, there can be some really big struggles, and I'm so happy that I'm in a position to help moms to not have to struggle that way and to get the support that they need. So I would definitely, again, encourage you to find a local lactation consultant, or you can also find someone virtually that you can work with. I just want to make sure that every mom has access to lactation support and lactation care. But if you don't have a lactation consultant that you're already working with, I would be happy to work with you. I am able to provide virtual consultations to anyone in the world through a secure telehealth platform. I also do prenatal lactation consultations virtually. So if you are interested in working with me, feel free to send me a direct message or just comment below this video. Prenatal lactation consultations are a way for me to understand what your situation is and how you might be able to reach your breastfeeding goals. If you just have a few questions and want to talk through what your situation is and get some recommendations, I'd be happy to do that for you. So that's it. I hope you got some good information out of this. And if you have any questions or comments, please comment below. Take care. Bye.